Welcome back to the channel, gang. My name is Kevin Strange. I'm a cartoonist, novelist, and independent filmmaker. I'm here today to share my love of the comic book medium with you. The comic book industry killed Ed Piskor. He was the best to ever do it. Now you're stuck with me. Till they kill me too. Before we begin, I make comic books myself. Link in the description to my Patreon page. For only $2.99 a month, you get access to all of my comics, all of my novels, and all of my feature-length films. Almost 20 years in the underground game. Tons of content for only $2.99 a month. Great deal, including The Wizard of Ganj, the story of Nixon and Hogan, Strangeville's resident weed dealers who, in spite of having no job and sitting around jerking off to tranny porn and huffing on those clown whips and playing video games all day, they still somehow managed to get the best weed in Strangeville. This is the origin story of that Colombian smoke weed, where Hogan shows up at this tree where this the bag of weed, the black bag of Colombian smoke weed, always shows up when they need it conveniently, and these little green hands come out and snatch it. Hogan gets into a tug of war and sucked into Weed World in the 420 dimension, where the dastardly little weed wizard snatches his precious little Colombian smoke weed and bounds off into the nether regions of Weed World, and Hogan has to contend with ganja gremlins, bong bats, and all manner of other beasties in The Wizard of Ganj, available now on my Patreon, and Too Many Dabs issues 1 and 2 up there on the Patreon right now. Too Many Dabs is a story of Frankie the Fruit Fucker, who challenges Nixon and Hogan to a dab smoking contest and smokes too much and accidentally blasts his consciousness into outer space, where he has to contend with Nixon and Hogan as machine elves while they show him all of the awful, dastardly things he's done throughout his life. And a la Ebenezer Scrooge, it's a Christmas Carol for stoners type of tale. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about one of the craziest mainstream comic book artists of all time, Simon Bisley. Simon Bisley working the cover here on Lobo, working the cover here on this Lobo art gallery, and this is just it's a great fit. This character is a great fit. This character is a cosmic bounty hunter who leaves death and destruction in his wake wherever he goes. And I wanted to talk about this book, Lobo's Back. Lobo, created by Keith Giffen, with Alan Grant on the dialogue duties here. Keith plotting and Alan doing the dialogue details. But it literally doesn't, the story makes absolutely no difference when it comes to a Lobo comic, and especially Simon Bisley art. You just sort of go along for the ride, except when Frank Miller is involved. We have Bad Boy from Frank Miller and Simon Bisley from Dynamite Comics. We'll crack this open one day and take a look at what happens when Frank Miller and Simon Bisley get together and do some work together. But we're not here to talk about Bad Boy today. We're here to talk about Lobo and Simon Bisley's art style. He's got this like real painterly, deranged, I call him Frank Frazetta on crack style that is just a pleasure for me anyway to look at. And we're going to go through it a little bit today, but shamefully, I don't have any Frazetta art at my house to compare all this Bisley stuff to, but I do have the internet, and so we can look at a couple pieces of Frank Frazetta art next to some Simon Bisley, and I think you can kind of see the comparison. There's a very Frazetta has this really crazy painterly style. Let me see if I can. There we go. And Bisley kind of takes inspiration from that. Takes inspiration. Frazetta has he builds these muscular bulges and folds in a particular way, using himself. He was a bodybuilder, using himself as reference. A lot of times, taking pictures of himself, look at himself in the mirror to get these kind of realistic looking musculature forms. Take a look at another one. See the comparison here. I think it's an apt. Let's light out of the way again. I think it's an apt comparison. Yeah, Frazetta, awesome. Worked in comics for a little bit, then became a cover illustrator mostly, and I think that's pretty much where Bisley ended up. This light a little bit. Jeez. There's always a glare when dealing with comic books, especially the covers. Let's, just for contrast with the Lobo character himself, let's take a look at this Lobo art gallery, which has the cover work by Bisley. And you can just see that. Awesome. Look at that little demon. That little demon boy. On the wheel. This poor corpse being run over and set on fire there. But that's Bisley doing Lobo, and then you just have all these other Lobos. This is a gallery picture. You can see I don't think anybody does Lobo quite like Bisley does Lobo. Some of them get close. Most of them don't. There's the gender bent Lobo for you confused for you gender confused folks out there. There's some inspiration for what you might look like with big fake tits. Some of this stuff is just real generic looking. When it comes to Lobo, Lobo has this. Bisley just does them with this grimy style, and as you'll see here when we get into there. That's me. That's your girl. And that's you. This is pretty cool. That's is that Mandrake? Not familiar with him. Roast me in the comments if you know who that artist is. Look at this. Not a fan of this. This looks like the department store manager Lobo over here. More gender bent Lobos. This butt plug bomb dropping in here. mileage, mileage may vary on what you think of other artists' work on Lobo, but my favorite Lobo artist is Simon Bisley. And this is weird. This book has multiple interior covers. Strongly suggested for mature readers. Vehemently suggested for mature readers, and that's the Bisley cover. And then we have other artists. And we have another one. So put it back, kid, with yet another artist. 3 covers, 1 comic book. Interesting. I'm not sure about the mature readers tag on this. It seems pretty. There ain't anything really in this book any different than any other comic from the era. So that's kind of, I think, a little gimmicky. Not sure it's warranted. So you can see the difference between when Bisley paints himself. That's Bisley's color painted cover, and then we get in here and we have normal comics coloring over his pencils and inks, which I think still looks really cool. And reminds me of something else that I can't get in the box. Well, yeah, I can. That's what we're here for, right? This is comics analysis, so let's do some analysis. 1 second here. Let me find I don't know where they're at. That's all Swans. I don't think they're in this box. I think they're in another box. So fuck it, gang. I love that. This is just psycho shit. The story and the art here. This is Lobo. He wants to use this. Believe it or not, this is some kind of a cash machine, and this is a character that's inside of the cash machine. And Lobo's all pissed off at him because he's taken too long. And eventually rips his arms off, and then Lobo goes inside. And you really can't, based on the backgrounds, there's not much to them. It's kind of hard to tell what's even going on there. Not that it matters, because we're just here to watch him rip arms off and fuck shit up. Who has time for backgrounds? Really interesting costuming and hair choices. These are like intergalactic bail bondsmen. And so they're like on a space station or a planet. I think it's meant to be a space station. Now we need the light a little bit closer, because the interior pages suck up the light. The covers bounce it right back in your face, but the interior art sucks up the light. So you gotta really get some light on it there. I like this little dude's character design. Lobo in complete shadow here, except for his big fucking beefy muscular arms. And we get our first look at our villain, so if you can call it that. Lobo himself is pretty much a villain of anywhere he goes. I like this. I like the. A lot of people don't like the the landscaped pages in comic books where you have to turn the book. I think they're cool. I use them. I do the landscaped shit a lot. These fucking deranged birds down here flying along with Lobo and his souped up space ride. And he can just fly around in space with no help. How is he breathing? I don't know. Maybe Lobo doesn't breathe. Doesn't matter. It ain't that kind of a comic book, right? We got all kinds of unseemly characters here. As Lobo's on the hunt for his bounty. I like that Lobo face right there. I like this dude's face. Check that out. He's got all these little blue aliens hanging out of this bar. And of course he just starts smashing them because he's Lobo. This reminds me of the Izzes from Sam Keith when they put on their sunglasses disguises in the Max. Is that a blow-up doll? He hangs out. I guess that's his assistant. Is an ape. And the our villain here, our bounty, tries to preemptively strike Lobo and blow up the cantina or whatever. Space cantina. He's I guess all cantinas are space cantinas if we're referencing Star Wars. Tries to blow up the bar he's hanging out at. And Lobo just kicks through the rubble, and there he is. And look at them. This is like classic Bisley. Look at this fucking character. This enormous, crazy gun that makes absolutely no sense cosmetically. It's got this huge knife coming off the bottom of it. Why not? Skull cod piece. We got a matching skull on his bandolier. Isn't that what those are called, gang? Roast me in the comments if I got that wrong. Really cool, like a tri-visor mask going on. These huge legs. You can't even see his feet. There's another knife. A forearm guard and some gloves. Just, this is just the shit that you just love it. I mean, you either... I don't know why else you get into comic books when you're a 12-year-old boy other than wanting to look at and draw shit like this. That's just... Hey, nobody does that like Bisley does that. Maybe Sam Keith might do that too. But very few dudes can. Maybe Rob Liefeld could do that too. There's a few dudes that have enough game to distort the human body in such a weird way and still just work. They get into their blaster fight here. Really, really great action with this dude just completely covered in spent cartridges from his wild gun. Vip, 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 chuck, 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 chuck. You can't beat me, man. I'm totally mental. Die, die, die. Look, he's got bullet holes all in him, and Lobo's got bullet holes all in him. He's got his own gun. They're blasting each other away. There's just bits of Lobo flying over here. Blow it out your armpit, coffin breath. Ain't nobody as mental as the main man. And click, click. They're both out of bullets. Look at them both. Both with these these bullets just embedded in Lobo's entire neck is bullets. And his entire brain pan is bullets. He's got bullets in his forehead. And this dude's got bullets in his head and all through his body as well. They're just both full of each other's bullets. They dropped their weapons. Now they're pulling out their knives, and they're going at each other. Look at that. Going at each other with their knives. Let's see if you live up to the Mr. Machete tag, Wolf Boy. Oh, man. What a roll. This is the start of a bloodbath of epidemic proportion. You got me so riled. When I finish you, I'm going to slaughter the whole fragging planet. This is awesome. All their bullets hanging out of their heads and their knives clashing. Still standing, huh, tough guy? You can't beat me, Lobo. Is that a fact? Come on. Why delay the the infragging inevitable? Look at these bullets lodged in Lobo's teeth and in his cheek. Yeah, I guess you're right. Take him out, brother. Take him out, brother pieces. Brother feces. Excuse me. Take him out, brother feces. Feces? Who in the name of Fizzles get? You got me, you dirty rat. And Lobo falls in half at the end of the nice page turn, splash page, final page of the book reveal. I guess brother feces. I guess this dude came out of his ass. He's got poop all over him and a gun there that he shot off. We did it, big brother. We did it. We killed the main man. We're the toughest, meanest, orneriest sons of bastiches in the whole fragging universe. And I defy anyone to say we ain't. And there's Lobo. There's his spine and his guts and his legs still standing. Bullet holes all in him, and Lobo dead on the ground. All those bullets still embedded in his brain. Great cliffhanger for Lobo's Back, issue number 1. And, it's something you're either into or you're not. For me, anything like this is my... That's how old this comic is. Where Batman Returns, the movie. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. Danny DeVito's Penguin. Michael Keaton as Batman. Tim Burton directing. Max Schreck, right? Played by Christopher Walken. Great character. Great movie. I saw this theatrically recently. Check out our coverage of the Frank Miller Bat trilogy, Batman Year One, Dark Knight Returns, and Dark Knight Strikes Again on the channel. If you want to see some Batman action. Big fan of this Lobo series. I believe Bisley only did maybe the first 2 issues of this. So I have the 4th issue in there, and it's a different artist who's kind of like aping this style. But this is definitely a treat. It's always a treat to get Bisley on full interior art duties. You just get crazy shit like this. I love it. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and be sure to like the video, subscribe if you're not already. Most people who watch videos on this channel are not subscribed. Subscribing and liking the video will boost us in the algorithm, get us in front of more eyeballs, give us the opportunity to get more subscribers and more members. Memberships are $3. Memberships for the channel. There's a join button down below that gets you access to videos weeks, sometimes months in advance to the general public. Right now, I think there's 10 or 11 or 12 paywalled episodes that have not gone out to the public yet. So becoming a member gives you some nice perks, and that money, we're looking for about 10 members right off the bat to allow us to subscribe to streaming software that's roughly about $30 a month, that will get us a higher quality, higher resolution video, a lot more tools we can use to present the videos to you in a more professional, high quality format. And yeah, make sure you hit the Patreon below to pick up my almost 20 years worth of Strangeville stories, including all of my comic books, novels, and feature films. You get comics, all kinds of comic books in there, including Wizard of Ganj, my Tale of the Colombian Smokeweed. Nixon and Hogan lose their Colombian smokeweed to a dastardly weed wizard and have to fight off ganja gremlins, bong bats, and much more. And Too Many Dabs, the story of issues 1 and 2 are available on. It's a 2-issue series available on the Patreon. The story of Frankie the Fruit Fucker, who challenges Nixon and Hogan to a dab smoking contest and accidentally blows his consciousness into outer space, where he has to contend with Nixon and Hogan as machine elves while they take him through his life and show him all the dastardly things he's done, a la Ebenezer Scrooge. It's a Christmas Carol stoner style. So hope you enjoyed the video today. And I hope to see you at the dollar bin. So keep on digging, gang. We'll see you next time.